Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the show with Nintendo maintains Nintendo Switch 2 pricing retail pre-orders to begin on April 24th in the United States. This does come directly from Nintendo. Retail pre-order. I know, right? I mean, but that's where they have us, right? They're like, yeah, they're giving us the price that we were already complaining about. It's not going up, and we're excited about it.
I said would happen as well.
Yeah.
Now everyone thinks they're heroes because they didn't change the price.
Exactly. You nailed it. Retail pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 will begin on April 24th, 2025. At launch, the price for Nintendo Switch 2 in the United States will remain, as it was announced on April 2nd, at $450. And the Nintendo Switch 2 plus Mario Kart World bundle will remain as announced at $500. Pricing for both physical and digital versions of Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza will remain unchanged as well. They are $80 and $70 respectively. However, Nintendo Switch 2 accessories will experience price adjustments from those announced on April 2nd due to changes in market conditions. Other adjustments to the price of any Nintendo products are also possible in the future depending on market conditions. So, Tam, we'll get into the prices.
We reserve the right to rob you at any moment.
Right. That's true, right? First of all, they are going to be able to get away with this price, I think, to themselves by saying, well, we got a ton of Switches already in the country. We'll sell those. And if things go sideways, we could always raise the price later on the new imports. But by raising the prices on the accessories, that's their way of being like, let's put a nerd tax on this. The people who are most likely to spend the most amount of money on our stuff, like the ones that are the most down bad, the ones that are just going to buy the stuff no matter what we price it at, they are the ones that will be disproportionately hit by the accessory pricing because they're the ones most likely to buy 5 accessories with their Switch 2 because they're so excited. And so we'll have them sort of supplement the cost of everything else going up in terms of our costs. I think that's the move here. It's not the worst case scenario, but it still stinks. Well, let's get into that. So the Switch 2, $450, the bundle with Mario Kart World, $500, Mario Kart World, $80, Donkey Kong Bonanza, $70. All of those are the prices that were announced on April 2nd. Let's get into all the things that have now gone up in price. Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller, $85. Joy-Con 2, $95. The charging grip, $40. The strap, $14. Joy-Con 2 wheel set, like the thing that I think you put the controller in for Mario Kart, $25. The Switch 2 camera is $55 now. The dock set, so I guess this is a separate dock, $120. Nintendo Switch 2 carrying case and screen protector, $40. The all-in-one carrying case, $85. The Switch 2 AC adapter is now $35. That is actually not the worst price. I thought that, honestly, I feel like they would have charged more for that. And then the Samsung microSD express card, 256 gigabytes for Nintendo Switch 2 is $60. Tam's holding up yes, the 8-bit dough Ultimate. Is this the 2?
$50.
Yep.
This is the brand new one.
I mean,
this will work, I imagine, on your whatever your Switch is, your new Switch is. Surely, unless they actively block Bluetooth devices from working, that will work.
I am with you where it's like, I probably will just not get one of these accessories that I might have otherwise. That, the prices have gone up here. It's not like they're going up commiserate, is that the right word, with the tariffs. They're going up like $5 each. The Switch 2 Pro controller was $80. Now it's $85. The Joy-Con 2 set, they were $90. Now it's $95. So it's not some steep increase, but any increase is going to hurt. And this is clearly Nintendo just being like, let's get a little extra on top. We feel like the accessories will be easier to get away with. The headline will be the Switch 2 is the same price, and we need to get away with something here. And so that's the move. Are you surprised that they didn't raise the price of the Switch 2? Like, I know that was kind of your call. I think you were probably right on the money on that, but you're like, this is their moment where they probably could have got away with something, and they didn't take it.
Yeah, they could have. I think that raising the price right now would really hurt whatever momentum they've built into marketing the Switch 2 currently, which as it goes into the launch period and as we approach the holiday period where people are more inclined to spend money to buy these kind of devices and even do it to the detriment of their own kind of financial stability to a degree. Like this is around time, like Christmas time, people are like, I have to do this. I know I've got a bunch of bills to pay, but I gotta do this. This is the thing. Like you don't want to risk any of that, and like jacking up the price could be the thing that pushes people off the fence and just be like, nah, I'm not doing that. That's too much. I think it actually works out in their favor to do it on the peripherals, because I believe the kind of markup on that is already pretty high. They're making their money. Traditionally, that's how unless it's changed in recent times and I haven't noticed it, but like consoles are sold at a loss where that is recovered.
Nintendo doesn't usually do that, not in the last few generations, but you're right, that's still pretty typical.
That is how it works with others.
Yep.
But the kind of benefit of that, where you make up, or the kind of a symptom, the result of that, where you make up extra money on games and peripherals, it applies to Nintendo in the same way. They're still making more money on peripherals and games, even if they're not selling the console at a loss. Which means if they're able to crank up the price slightly on those same things, it means that they're making more money than they probably would have if they had jacked up the price of the console itself. So I think it's a very shrewd, very smart move on their part. I'm hoping that consumers are a little more savvy, but also like, I don't care if you want to spend your money, do what you want. Like I'm going to buy, I'm being hypocritical because I'm probably going to end up buying a couple of these things, but it's just a matter of like, hey, if you have the disposable income and you're in a position to do it and you need to do it, for me, I'd be like, I kind of need to do it because I got to like play these games and test them and that kind of stuff. But like, I think there's enough alternatives out there now that you can find a cost-effective way of getting what you want out of your Switch, which primarily for most people is going to be like, I want a few people to be able to play this. There's probably more cost-effective ways for you to do that beyond the simple and easy thing, which is just order a bunch of Nintendo's peripherals, which is going to cost you a lot more money.
Yeah, and you're right, definitely right that like Nintendo makes a high margin on those accessories, so that's one of the reasons they do it in the first place. And part of this raising the price is like, that business, we don't care about being in that business unless it's making us high margins. So returning and like kind of reclaiming those margins is a big part of that.